Welcome back to San Onofre State Park in the inaugural event of the Professional Surfing Tour of America. With over $1,000 up for grabs in the women's division, the women, like the men, worked hard for a top placing. Holly Beck wasted no time as early in the heat she paddled into one of the best waves of the final.
I was lucky. My first wave was really good. I got a good left all the way to the inside, and that pretty much set the pace for the rest of my heat. I was lucky to get a lot of really long lefts, so I was stoked.
The conditions were not perfect, but definitely contestable, and all hoped to win, but even so, the mood was light and friendly.
It was really beautiful. The water's really warm right now, thank God. And I guess there's a really good vibe with women. I feel like we're a lot kinder to each other out in the water maybe than the men. So it's just a good time for us, I think.
It's kind of high-tidey, bumpy, but it was fun. There's lots of waves, so there wasn't really any serious hassling going on. Everybody was just surfing. It was hard to get a good rhythm, but Holly was just dominating, so I just kind of tried to follow her, sit on Holly a little bit, and get her scraps.
Surfing in her first contest and getting 5th place, Heidi Holso showed great tenacity even though she was having a hard time reading the high tide conditions, while Erin Edwards of Encinitas, California would put in a good enough performance to take 4th. During the heat, Holly Beck consistently found the biggest and best waves, and it was no surprise to see her at the top of the podium at heat end. These are our final standings, and congratulations to all of our female competitors, and especially Holly Beck, our women's champion of this first PSTA event.
I started surfing when I was about 14 years old. I used to boogie board all the time in the summertime with my friends, and surfing just looked like so much more fun. So I talked my uncle into giving me one of his old surfboards, and I took it out in the mornings, and I was so embarrassed to go out with all the guys that I talked my friend into going with me. We would go at 4 o'clock in the morning before the sun was even up so that no one would see the idiots that we look like. And then we would leave the beach at like 6:30 before anyone would see us. I started competing right away. It was actually one of the reasons I started surfing. And so that was instantly incentive to get better. I think it really helped me improve at a much quicker pace because I had a reason to try to improve rather than just doing it for fun. My very first contest, I got 2nd place. And so instantly I wanted to be first. And the next contest I was first. And so that just started my drive to want to compete and do well. And I started surfing in the National Scholastic Surfing Association, the NSSA. And my first year I didn't do very well, and I was kind of frustrated. And so I quit halfway through the season and just practiced all summer long. And then the next year I ended up ranked 5th. And the next year I was 2nd. And then this year finally I was 1st. And every year they have a big national contest where amateur surfers come from all over the United States, Hawaii, East Coast, West Coast. They all put us together in a contest at Trestles, and I got 3rd in the open division and 1st in the college division, so I'm pretty happy about that. My first goal before I even turn pro is to finish school, graduate. I promised my parents that that was what I was going to do. I think it's a good idea, especially because contest surfing isn't going to last forever, and I'm going to need something to fall back on someday. But I'm taking summer school, trying to graduate as early as I can, and as soon as I'm done, I've got good sponsor backing right now, and I'm looking to go on tour and chase after the top 11.
The Open Division semifinals were some of the closest heats of the event. Only 2 from each semi-heat would advance to the final, and unfortunately, Phil Luke from Florida wasn't one of them.
You do, the waves are really bad right now. It's really mushy. You always got to make excuses when you lose, so I'm blaming the waves this time.
The real conflict in semifinal number 1 was between 36-year-old Jim Hogan and 19-year-old Jesse Merle Jones. They would tie at 18 points each, with Jesse winning the countback. But the whole time it was Parsons who Jesse was really gunning for.
Yeah, I wish I would have waxed him so I could roust him about it, but he got me with that last 6.25, whatever. He needed like a 5.75, so I was kind of wanted to edge him out, but that's the way it went.
Well, I'm having fun, those guys, a lot of those guys are half my age or whatever. Jesse's like 19 or something, I'm 34, so it's fun for me. I like surfing against the kids. It keeps me feeling young, and
you know, it's just a heat. I feel like I still, you know, have the ability to beat anyone at the right time. So it's just a matter of staying active. It's fun for me. Like I said, it keeps me feeling young.
Semi-final number 2 would be the end of the line for visiting Australian David Nielsen and event favorite Jeff Dethenbaugh.
Didn't get a lot of waves and that, but I was happy with the way I surfed, and it's been a good event. I got a bit of money and met a lot of friends, so it's been pretty good.
I just didn't get that third solid wave. It was really tight, you know. Other guys were getting a little bit more on the outside than I got. I think that's how they got the bigger scores.
Advancing to the final would be Jeff Hurley from Newport and San Clemente Trails local Jason Sen.
It's tough out there. There's not many waves. I was lucky to get 3 at the beginning that held up, and it got close at the end. I was scared, but luckily I made it through.
I only had 1 wave with about 9 minutes remaining, and they scored top 3, so I picked off 2 at the end, and I pretty much got lucky. One of them was good, connected all the way through, and I guess that carried me through the heat. I'm pretty stoked I finally won one again. I won my first 2 heats, a $25 heat and a $50 heat, and I think this one had 100, so a little pocket change is always nice.
The cash registers are ringing, so stay with us as the PSTA continues. The final is next.